Three stories that Jesus told. Do you remember the two crowds gathered around him as he told these stories? Two very different crowds. Two kinds of crowds that would never show up at the same party. They just didn't hang with each other. Very religious people, the spiritual leaders of Israel at that time. People who represented older brothers in this parable quite well. And then tax collectors and sinners. They were just drawn to Jesus like a magnet. And we have to ask ourselves, why? Why would they be drawn to Jesus? We posed the question last week, why is it that so many churches today do not draw those kind of people? We reflected on that for a little bit. There are reasons that we will unveil a little bit today. In these stories, we see a lot of rejoicing and a lot of grumbling, don't we? In these stories. So I asked the question, which is more characteristic of you? As you read these stories, as you take these stories in and listen with fresh ears, what's more characteristic of your life? Are you more full of joy, or are you more of a grumbler? It's a fair question. Last week we looked at the prodigal son, the younger son, but we also looked at the prodigal God. I had a lot of good conversations this week because a number of you told me this is the first time you really understood the prodigal God. A lot of us thought that this story was just about this wayward younger son who lost his way, and boy, he's just a mess. And I remember the first time I preached this sermon in my first congregation. One of my elders came up afterward. He said, "Yeah, that was good for that younger son to really learn, wasn't it?" It became clear in the conversation I had with him that he had no idea what this parable was really about. I think that's true for a lot of people. Elders, pastors, parishioners. Because what does the word prodigal mean? Recklessly, yes, recklessly wasteful, as the younger son was. But what? Recklessly extravagant. Recklessly lavish, like the prodigal God is. It seems that that's a new idea for some people. It's an idea that all of us need to continue to learn and understanding.